What's up, good people? Thanks for tuning in. Watch the game sports. This, I think we're in between the week of the AFC, the Championship Sunday, and this is the off week as we get ready for Super Bowl 60. So, college basketball and a little bit of news in the NBA, some things that happened, some things that's going on in the NBA that kind of surprised me. I haven't really been watching a lot of NBA, but I want to talk about a few things. The coaching changes. A couple coaches have been selected to a couple NFL teams that were hiring new coaches in this cycle. I think we had 9 or 10 coaching changes. I think 2 of those, 9 of them. 2 of those changes yet to be made. The Raiders and the Cardinals, but there's been some interesting hirings. One in particular that once I saw the press conference, it really got to me. Kind of got emotional.
I know what you're talking about.
Hey man. But a couple controversial changes. Couple coaches got a little pissed off. Some surprising stories, not stories, but some things going on in the NBA that kind of we probably didn't think about. We probably didn't think or consider was a possibility going into this offseason. Giannis, will he be traded
To Miami.
and see now you've been I see you've been keeping up with it. Kind of like I have. LeBron, what's going on with LeBron in LA? He just went to Cleveland, had a homecoming game in Cleveland. Him and Bronny. The NBA and Walt Disney went to Cleveland along with the Lakers. And they gave us a storyline. And the Boston Celtics are the number 2 seed in the East.
And they was blowing it up, right?
Yeah, and that's the most interesting story. I haven't watched a lot of the Celtics, but this just solidifies that Jaylen Brown is the player that they want to ignore him to be. They're like the media. It's like him not getting the selection to the Olympic team a couple years back that was controversial. I think this right here, this season, the way things continue to go the way they are, this is a big statement season for him, leading that team without Jason Tatum. This show today, thanks for watching, man. Watch the game sports. This show today is going to be kind of like it's just random. Not a lot of football action. We know the Super Bowl is set. Seahawks and the Patriots. Some news coming out of New England is that Drake May is dealing with some shoulder soreness on his throwing shoulder. That's something we want to keep up with. In the week to come, they got some things. I think he's going to end up with like 11 or 12, maybe a little bit more than that, days off getting ready for the Super Bowl 60. But Penn,
that's not even a real story though. To me,
it's not. That's just an update. That's just an update because what I've been doing, I started this morning. I'm hearing the Bill Belichick stuff. Bill Belichick not getting into the Hall of Fame on first ballot.
Nobody's in the program, baby. Nobody's bigger in the program.
Now, I know how you feel about Belly.
Yeah.
But the point of the matter is he's in the Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. He's absolutely a Hall of Famer. I don't want to spend a lot, but that's one of the leading stories going into the week off between Championship Sunday and getting us ready for Super Bowl Sunday. Um, Shador Sanders,
Pro Bowler.
Pro Bowler, being a replacement. My question for you is, how as a do you take a snub for Caleb Williams when you think about Shador being selected to this Pro Bowl?
You know what? I didn't even think of the Caleb aspect of it. I was looking at it like I felt like Shador got a raw deal all year in Cleveland, and maybe this was the NFL's way of giving something back. We're gonna give you some reparations from what you had to deal with from from your situation in Cleveland. I don't know how his performance didn't even say that he was Pro Bowl worthy. And for him to get picked over Trevor Lawrence, who made the playoffs, they won 11 games. Like, I don't even know how else to look at that other than they was just giving out a handout to Shador. Maybe they trying to get, well, they got a coach now. I thought they was trying to, entice Dion to come on and coach the Cleveland Browns, but they already filled their head coaching position. So when I saw that news had broke, I thought it was, fake news at first, and then I kept seeing it and I was like, this is for real? Like, who got some pictures? Who got some black men?
See, my thing is, it lets us know exactly where we are in professional sports today, and for the real competitive fan. What I mean by that is a fan that actually played a sport, coached a sport, or known someone that's actually competed. This is one of those stories that in modern time, it's like this is where we at in professional sports. Me and you both know that Shador Sanders didn't even play enough games to be considered a Pro Bowler.
Right. What do you play? 5?
I believe so. And my thing about that is that's not even enough games to qualify for a Pro Bowl selection.
Exactly.
It waters down the achievement, and he's a replacement. Don't get me wrong, but there's so many other quarterbacks that have a much bigger body of work that could have been put in that position. It just puts us. It tells us where we at in professional sports as a fans and how we going to perceive things. Um, where we at with professional sports, popularity in professional sports, and how they're going to try and promote certain events because the NFL Pro Bowl weekend or whatever you want to call it is not even really a thing. It's just an achievement, a recognition now because it's turned into a flag football game.
Yeah.
Um, but the importance of being a Pro Bowler is it watered down now. And you have to think in this scenario it is. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a great opportunity for Shador, specifically for his branding and the NFL taking recognition, like you said, to hey man, you were a thing this year. You had a significant storyline this year, and in your opinion, you thought he was. A lot of people thought he was more than a fifth round draft pick,
Yeah.
and maybe this is the league saying we apologize because me and you, I think we both just like Bill Belichick. It's like okay, so Shador is a Pro Bowl replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with a with a minimal body of work, with a lot of questions about his development and his future going forward in the NFL completely. And then we have Belly, proven coach, Hall of Fame, hands down. But now in the same week, within matter of days. They say, Shador, with your minimal body of work, along with your popularity, you, Shador, you are a Pro Bowl replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Belly, with your 6 Super Bowls, more Super Bowls than the man himself, Lombardi. That's who the trophy's
He
name
got
after.
two as a D coordinator too, right?
Yeah, yeah. But as a head coach, he's got 6, and
Yeah.
he's been to 8, I believe, right? Because he lost 2.
Right. Yeah.
He lost 2 to the Giants.
Yep.
So they tell Belly, no, you're not a Pro Bowler. I mean, you're not a Hall of Famer yet. Shador, you have much to prove in this league. 5 games is enough. You're popular enough. We're going to reward you with a Pro Bowl replacement selection. This is where we at. You're either popular enough or we don't like you enough to either give you your credit, or you're popular enough to say, hey man, we was wrong. We kind of colluded against you,
Yeah.
even though your coach got fired,
Yeah.
even though you played 5 games, you get rewarded with being a Pro Bowler replacement. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know I was going there, but that's where we at. So,
My, my
what's
thing,
your thoughts on all that?
my thing with the Belichick, like I alluded to earlier, like nobody is bigger than the program, and I'm not the biggest Bill Belichick fan because I believe more that his success is credited to Tom Brady because I've seen him without Tom Brady multiple times and he was not Hall of Fame worthy. Let's just call it what it was. In Cleveland, he got fired in 2 years after 2 seasons. Then we saw what he looked like after Tom Brady left the Patriots. He didn't sniff the playoffs. That's who I believe Bill Belichick is as a coach. But I cannot take away that he got 6 Super Bowl rings and 2 as a defensive coordinator with the Giants under Bill Parcells. So I cannot take that away. Here's why I'm not mad. Because few years back, Terrell Owens had the same situation. You cannot sit here and tell me that Terrell Owens is not a first ballot Hall of Famer as a wide receiver. I don't care if you don't like what he did to teams when he got there, what he did in Philly. He got ran out of Dallas. He was a model citizen in Cincinnati when he played with Ocho for the year. He was a model citizen when he played with the Bills for a year. San Francisco, Philly, yeah, okay, he blew those things up, but the production was there. I think he's second on the list all time for touchdowns, I believe, and he was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. So it's nice for me to see that they said, "Hey, Belly, you got some questions around you, deflate gate, deflate gate, and whatever the
Spygate.
Spygate,
Spygate.
you got those hanging over your head." So I'm just glad to see in this instance, if they did it to a black player, then they did it to this white coach. I'm cool with it. So I'm not gonna sit up here and be fake outraged like all these other shows that we watch. And when I saw Shannon Sharp going off about it, I was like, damn, Shannon, I can't believe you not seeing this how I am. But I'm not upset about it one bit. Is he a Hall of Famer? Yes. But if they chose to make this stand on him, I have no problem with it because they did it with T.O. And T.O. got so mad about it that he said, you know what? I'm going to take my ball and go to Chattanooga State or wherever he went to college. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm going to have my Hall of Fame inductory.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have no problems with it at all. Again, personal feelings aside, Bill Belichick deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Do I think he's the greatest head coach all time? No, I don't. I put Parcells ahead of him, Andy Reid ahead of him. It's probably 2 more I put ahead of him. But you ain't gonna get me, beating the band drum for Bill Belichick, and
Yeah.
he's not going in.
My thing is, this is where we at with sports. This is where we at with sports. It's Shador is a Pro Bowl replacement. Bronny James is an NBA basketball player. And since we don't like you, since we don't like you, we don't like a couple of things you've done, you're not a Hall of Fame coach. It's just this is where we at. This is where we at in sports. Um, and since we're talking about Hall of Fame, it's been in my timeline quite a few times. We on the brink of spring training, I think, for
Oh
baseball pretty soon.
yeah.
Since we're talking about Hall of Fame, Kenny Damn Lofton is a Hall of Famer.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah.
that's one of the homeboys.
Yeah.
East Chicago, Indiana, East Chicago, Washington High School, two sport athlete, 1985 graduate. Uh, Two sport athlete, played basketball and played and of course was a Major League Baseball player. Played in a Final Four, 1988, with Steve Kerr, Sean Elliott. And I think they got to the Final Four in 1988. He got to a Final Four in high school as a senior at East Chicago, Washington, on the basketball team, 1985. But
And played in the World Series, I think, with the Indians or the Guardians, as they now call, and with
yeah,
the Giants, I believe.
yeah. So and had a hell of a run with the Cubs for I think a season as
He played
well. For
with the Cubs and the Sox, didn't he?
yeah, he did play with the Sox. He played with the Cubs. He played with the Cubs and I think when in the '03 when in the
Uh-huh.
Bartman year he was on that team. I think he was a leadoff hitter on that baseball team in '03. But he's in my opinion a Hall of Famer, baseball player. I'm glad you mentioned his accolades as a pro, um, with the Indians and stuff like that. Because I remember him as a high school athlete, basketball player, and I go that far back as far as him playing at University of Arizona. I remember him being a big deal coming out of the hood at that time in the mid '80s. It was him, and I got to mention it was him, and it was Doc Bone, Tony Harris, and Arthur Pollard too. That was another. He was another kid. East Chicago Roosevelt graduate, 1984. He was in the Final Four as well in '88. Just to name a few, drop a few names that I grew up. Some guys that inspired me in the gyms and on the playgrounds. Arthur Pollard was on that Oklahoma team with Stacey King and Mookie Blaylock that ended up losing in that 1988 final in the Final Four. Arthur Pollard was on that team with Stacey King, Harvey Grant, Mookie Blaylock, and I forget. I think they had another guard named Grace. I think that was his name, but just to name a few. But bottom line is, Kenny Lofton is a damn Hall of Famer. Since we're talking about the Hall of Fame, let's get him in. You got my vote, Kenny Lofton. Um, College basketball kind of took over my weekend and bled into the early parts of the week. Um, a couple the freshmen balling out college basketball.
Oh
Just
yeah.
a few names: Cameron Bruiser at Duke, Caleb Wilson at North Carolina. But we had three huge performances by some freshmen. Saturday, I believe it was over the weekend. Keaton Wagler from
From Illinois.
Illinois,
Yeah.
46 points in the win over Purdue. AJ DeBasta with BYU, I think he put up about 42. I can't remember who he put it up against. I think that was on Saturday as well.
Who did they play? They play Utah. Here you go to BYU. I think they
Hmm.
Utah.
Okay, yeah, that was a in-state rival game because they just played Arizona. They just lost to Arizona. I can't remember what he did against Arizona. I think either a couple nights ago, and then Kingston Flemings University of Houston. I think in the loss to Texas Tech, I think he put up about 42. So the freshmen say there ain't no football, no NFL football this weekend. So hey man, we got some things we gonna show you. You know what I mean? Um, they put up some big performances this week. So those freshmen, the future of basketball, maybe leads us into some stories about maybe the NBA if you want to. We talked about Giannis. Giannis possibility going to who knows Houston. I mean not Houston, but your Miami Heat. Is that
Yeah.
enough? If that is Giannis going to Houston? I mean going to Miami. With that, how would
Would
that
that
move the needle with you?
uh to be honest with you, I would rather have Ja because I think Giannis is the best running back in the league. I'm not particularly fond of his game, but that would bring me back into the fold of more so just checking the stat lines and the highlights for the Miami Heat. I would actually tune in to watch a couple games. Like you with the Bears, I've opted out the last 2 seasons on the Heat. So
Okay.
they need to be active. If they don't get Giannis, I would love to see them get Ja and trying to rebuild, but them just middling with this team that they got. I saw them in person this year in an NBA Cup game, and they actually won by 40 against the Bulls. But outside of Bam and Norman Powell and Davion Mitchell, I had no clue who was on the team.
Yeah, I have to do some serious catching up with the NBA. College basketball is tweaking my interest more so right now.
Yeah.
Um, I think we mentioned Jalen Brown leading the Celtics into the 2 spot in the East. I would
Who's a
like to see.
legit MVP candidate.
Yeah, yeah, you can say that. I mean, because no one probably expect. We probably figured Jalen Brown was capable of this. And
Do you
it also puts me in a situation where I want to see what's around him right now. Go ahead.
do you see a Shaq and Kobe situation on the horizon in Boston? Do you see or a Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose? That's a better comp because it was Derrick's team. He went down when he blew his knee, pretty much back to back seasons. And by the time he had came back, Jimmy Butler
The
was a
man,
problem.
he was ascending.
Yeah,
He was becoming the
yeah.
Jimmy we know today. Yeah, you're right. Not really because those two together have accomplished more than Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler did. And then they kind of I don't know what the gap is between Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose's career, like meaning the draft classes, like how many years between them. But I think Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum
They like a year apart.
I think they're a year apart.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, in the comparables, I would rather compare them to more to Clay and Steph than Rose and Jimmy, if you get what I mean. Because
But Clay was
uh,
never a one though. He was never
I know that, but I mean, uh, yeah, I mean, because you right because Jalen is a lot more accomplished than Clay, but I don't. If you saying it being a this is my team thing going forward, I don't see that. And I think the one way they can calm that down is by keeping a playmaker on the floor with both guys. Someone on that team that could show the bridge between the two players. You know what I'm saying? And with them accomplishing things together, I can see them having I think they have a better bond than that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could think about the. You remember what happened with the Dallas Mavericks back in the day with the with the
Jamal Mashburn them.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. See that may be a possibility. You know, some off the court shenanigans,
Yeah.
but on court they have a chemistry. They've proven that they can win, and I think outside of just the coach, the coach can probably control some of that. I mean, with like I say, they won. I don't see them having a problem on
They
the court.
won. Yeah, they won together. Finals MVP was Jalen Brown, though. You know what I mean? So
Deservedly so.
I know. I'm just saying. So if I'm Jalen Brown, my mindset is like, okay, the front office thought we was gonna be pretty much non-existent this year. They blew up everything. They got rid of Porzingis. They was trading pieces left and right, and they left me here with this. And here we are, second in the East. So when Tatum
They
comes,
did go out and get a guard, though. Didn't they go out and get somebody?
I gotta go back and look at their roster. I haven't watched too many of their
Me
games,
neither. Me neither.
but it's just when when Tatum come back, like, hey, when it's clutch time, swing it over here. You ain't been here all year. I'm Finals MVP, and I'm standing on that. You see, they had me out here with nothing, and this is where we at.
Yeah.
You number two.
Well, I would hope not. You have a point. I don't think so. I don't think that'll happen. Like I said, the coach, the head coach of the team, and maybe a third, not so much in the scoring column, but just from a standpoint of distribution, ball distribution. If you can keep a lead guard with those two guys to kind of filter out the distribution, I don't see them. I don't see them. I don't see that being a problem. I mean, it could be years later after they've done their share of winning, because they might have a few. They may have another title under their belt. Given if Tatum can come back 100% and they continue to put the pieces around them, they are capable of winning another championship. And I believe now that I bring up Jason Tatum, they were saying that he was thinking about trying to come back this year, but as of this morning, because I've been listening to Boston Sports Talk Radio. Okay, that's one of the things I do to kind of get out of the Chicago, Northwest Indiana vibe, to try and I'm plugging into the markets of Seattle and Boston to try and get their takes on Super Bowl. And I heard them talking about Tatum, talking about he had a little setback, so coming back this year might not be a possibility. Going forward may not be, and we have to take a look at that. But they went out and got a guard.
They got
Can't remember his name.
Anthony Simons from
That's right.
yeah.
And they just like maybe a couple weeks ago, they went out and got him, and maybe I don't know if they went in, if he's been there all season.
Yeah, when they started blowing that thing up, remember they got rid of Drew Holiday and Porzingis, all of them.
Okay, they got him in the off season. Am I right?
Season, yeah.
So that he might be the guy. He might be the guy that could bridge that gap. This is what I'm saying. He hasn't won a championship. He's a young player. He can be the Rondo to that, the young guy that, even though Rondo won championships with his older group, because KG and Pierce.
Rondo is a different animal though.
Yeah, he's different. But what I'm saying is maybe what's the kid's name again?
Anthony Simons.
Maybe Anthony Simons is the guy that could bridge that gap. Like, hey man, hey, let's do this. I want a chip. You know what I'm saying? Not from a standpoint of Rondo. I mean, but I'm just saying that guy that, hey man, let's take the young man to a championship. We can do that. We can team up to do that, and then along with whatever's left around them, I think they have at least one more championship in them if they can get Tatum back. And see, the thing about the Celtics that always impressed me was, even when they won their championship years ago, they could defend, and they had multiple playmakers, multiple shot makers, and that's why they were so hard to match up with. And if they can continue going forward with their formula, they're going to continue to be hard to match up with.
Who did they beat in the finals? I know they
They beat
lost.
Dallas.
Yeah.
They
Kyrie.
beat they beat Luca and Kyrie, and But yeah, if they can get him back, I can see that. I can see the Celtics winning another championship. Now, Giannis talking about, you know, I don't. I can see Giannis being a plug and play guy in a lot of systems. I'm not a I'm not a big fan of his ball dominance.
Yeah,
Um, but but he's a piece to a championship caliber team. Will he sacrifice some of his game wherever he goes? Because I think the end of the road for Milwaukee, be it if it's before the trade deadline
they already.
or if it'll be this summer, where if they think they can get more draft capital, um, because that's another thing too. They're saying I heard some stories that Milwaukee's like they're not really in a hurry to make this move because they want to make sure they get the get the best deal they possibly can for Giannis.
They want the OKC package when they got rid of Paul George and Russ Westbrook,
Yeah,
who uh, coincidentally enough, they got the assets to go get Giannis just with
yeah,
draft picks they got because they still got like 4 first-round draft picks.
yeah,
So they could put something together where they move them picks and still keep their core Jalen Williams, Shea, and Chet, and add Giannis to that. That'll be cheating again. That's like Golden State when they had KD again. Like,
yeah.
you fair.
You're exactly right, and that's the perfect scenario if you want to compare that Giannis going to OKC. Now that you mention it, I doubt if it happens because I don't think the league is leaning in that direction anymore. I think they want to get back to more teams winning by building through the draft. But it's obvious that Giannis wants to be moved, and like I say, he's a plug and play guy in a lot of systems. But the ball dominance, in my opinion, I would like to see Giannis. I mean, I see in Milwaukee, he's on the ball, and he's not a playmaker.
No.
He's not a playmaker, and his inability to make other guys better, be it the assists or just making plays and putting guys in spots. That's not what he does. Um, and I believe at his age, he's getting up there. He
31.
needs a playmaker around him, and I would like to see him tone his game down to the maybe be more of a spot up shooter or a back to the basket type of guy, a finisher, pretty much a finisher, more so than I don't want to hand Giannis the ball 94 feet. Say, hey man, go run the set. That ain't what. That's not what I. If I had him, that's not what I'm doing with Giannis. So
The,
Giannis, run lanes, go down on that block, put somebody in the rim. That's what I'm going to ask Giannis to do. Now I'm not going to take his ability. I still want him to space the floor. If he can be a stretch guy, let him be a stretch guy. But he's not a playmaker. He's not. He's not Luca. He's not. He's not the Joker. He's not LeBron. He's not James Harden. If you get my drift.
yeah.
Those guys have the ability to make plays and make guys around them better. I don't see Giannis as that. I think Giannis going forward, he's going to have to sacrifice some of his game, maybe 5 points a game. And he had that opportunity a couple years back when they went out and got Dame,
Yeah.
but it just didn't seem like they can get that chemistry together. Dame had his injuries and stuff like that. But Giannis going forward, I don't know what Miami would do. I don't know what Miami would give because me myself personally, if I'm Miami, I'm not trying to get rid of Bam.
Uh,
I like Bam in Miami. I believe Bam. I see Bam. I think Bam can fit in any system.
I like Bam. It's just Bam isn't a one. That's my only problem with Bam. Like he's a good second or third option, but
Yeah,
they need something to go with that, and they've
yeah,
just rolled this thing out too long to see if Bam and Tyler Hero was gonna be able to take that next step, and it's just not gonna happen. So if they moved off of Bam, let's just say it was a scenario where they landed Giannis and Ja, and they had to give up Bam and clear gut a lot of the team to do that. Okay, I'm cool with that. But just to bring in Giannis and move off Bam, I don't know where that gets you.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Because I would like to see Giannis do what Bam does a little bit more.
I I think Bam is way more. Well, I mean, I know Giannis averaging 30 off of 60% field goal percentage, but Bam still does more. If he like he can guard 1 through 5, I
Hmm.
don't think we can say that about Giannis.
And that's my thing. If Giannis was more like that type of player, he probably have another championship,
Yeah.
considering what he's had around him in the past few years. Because Dame, who was the Middleton, before they got rid of Middleton, but I mean, if Giannis bought into that part of his game, being more of a rebounding defender, finisher around the rim, you know, I'm not gonna take this ability to shoot threes away. I mean, hey, take a few. You know what I mean? Because even Bam has stepped
Yeah.
his game out, stepped his range out a little bit. I seen him make that turn right around when the Olympics that summer a couple years back when we got ready for the Olympics, and I saw him had the ability to stretch out and shoot that international three, and I felt like, okay, this is going to translate to the next season, and Bam's going to be, probably allowed to take that shot a little bit more in the Miami Heat's offense, because you got to believe that Pat Riley, he's got to be one of Pat Riley's favorite guys. He drafted him. He's been there. You know how Pat is about, he's a pretty loyal guy if you do what he asks of you.
Hmm.
And as long as you don't shake up the apple cart, ask for too much money, you know what I'm saying? You can stay in Miami, look you down this Haslam,
20 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can get along with Pat. Pat'll make sure you got a spot. He'll make hey, if it's 15 spots, you could be the 16th man. Just as long as you get along with Pat, you can be the designated hand clapper. But anyway, so yeah, I like Bam. I wouldn't want to see Miami go after Giannis without the ability to keep Bam. I believe that was one of the more interesting. Uh, just people talk about San Antonio,
Yeah, San
New
Antonio,
York.
Golden State's an option. They would have to trade
Yeah,
straight up for Jimmy and probably put Kaminga with that.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
Jimmy coming off of ACL. He just blew his ACL last week. Jimmy, like 36 years old.
That's another guy that
Yeah.
Kaminga. He's as a we're still figuring out who he is, what he does well. It's obvious he's one of the most athletic, gifted players in the NBA. But we're well past his time where he could be a very productive basketball player. And I think Golden State, I think he went a whole 3 weeks, a month without really getting any production after they paid him. I'm hoping that they can make a move with him. We coming up real quickly to the trade deadline of the NBA. I'm hoping that they can move Kaminga somewhere where he could either just ball out or fall out.
Yeah, I think Kaminga, he kind of puts me in like the same story arc as somebody like a Kyle Kuzma when he was on the Lakers. Like he would have flashes and you would think like he could be a solid piece. Then when they got rid of him, I know they traded him to Washington. That's probably the worst organization in the league of as
Mhm.
far as player development. And he flamed out. He didn't really do nothing there. He wasn't even putting up numbers in Washington. Then they put him with Milwaukee, and he got another chance to be next to a bona fide superstar, so he can just come in and contribute, play his game, and chip in. And it hasn't worked out. So I kind of put Kaminga in that type of space, being that Golden State, they got an aging Steph Curry. Steph is like 37, 38 years old. Draymond is probably past his time now. Situation was right after they traded Andrew Wiggins for him to come in and kind of assert himself right there, and he didn't. They felt like they had to still go make a move. They went out and got Jimmy. So I just, like you said, ball out or flame out. So trade him somewhere and let's see what he is. I think he's Kyle Kuzma.
Um, Now that you say that, I got some things. It's a couple scenarios I wouldn't mind seeing uh Kaminga in. Um, Miami.
I don't want him.
Well, I'm just saying. I just think that Miami has a style.
I would have took
It's a
Trae Young.
Trey Young. Oh, to Miami,
Yeah, I'd have took him in Miami.
kind of small in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of.
Just to stretch the floor. I don't think we got enough shooting.
Yeah,
But you got to put him with somebody. He's not a one. You got to put
yeah,
him with somebody.
yeah. Well, yeah. You talking about Kaminga, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's right. I mean, now if you're gonna give me Trey and put Kaminga on the floor with Trey, I can live
And
with
Bam.
that.
Yeah, Bam still
And
there.
Bam, because I believe Kaminga's game. I don't. He's not a shooter. He's not a knockdown shooter. He's a finisher, and I just think he's Miami has no one on their team like him, in my opinion. Um, and we may be selling one of those guards short because they had some guards. I can't remember the guys' names, and you have. I don't
Talking about
even know if you. I don't know if you suspended. So I don't know if you're keeping up with that lineup. But they had a guard, one number 45,
Davion Mitchell.
Davion Mitchell.
Yeah.
The poor man's uh, what's the kid's name in Cleveland?
Donovan.
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
That's the poor man's Don, and that similar name, similar game, in my
Same.
opinion. Yeah, similar name, similar game, but one is clearly head and shoulders way, gets a lot more usage, has a different mentality, but they kind of have the similar games. He's the only guy with Miami that I was like, that dude can be much more, but he needs a little bit more around him. Kaminga, and you got Wiggins. Kaminga, Wiggins.
They ain't got no shooting.
Yeah,
That's
you're
the
right. No
thing.
shoot. I mean, maybe you can get some bench depth. I don't know, but hey, maybe you have to put. But he's in Washington.
Trey.
Where did they move Trey to?
Washington.
Washington. Bad
Yeah.
situation.
That
Bad
that
situation.
that
I don't
Washington.
know. I haven't kept up with them to even see what they're doing right now, but I don't like that situation for him.
Yeah, that
Even though he's not one of my favorite players. I respect his talent, but that's not a great situation for him,
uh
in my
the
opinion.
the Wizards are the equivalent to me of the Cleveland Browns in the NFL. Like, okay, because remember they had the second pick. Remember who they picked? Alex Sarr or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We were watching the draft live, and I said that's not a good situation for him to go to because they
Yeah,
don't know what they're doing.
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. Um, but we got some young talent coming in the league. A lot of good freshmen
Yeah,
that might end up being first rounders. this is probably one of the best representations of American talent
in a minute.
in a long time. I mean, for the past couple years, it's been the France takeover. Uh, uh, Cooper Flag was the headliner last year, the first pick overall. But this group of freshmen, Cameron Boozer, Caleb Wilson, Keaton, you got to think these guys are coming out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
AJ DeBanster. I'm not gonna really say too much about Keaton Wagler because I don't really know much as enough about him to to say whether or not he's
The first three
first.
guys you
I can
named,
see him being a first round pick. He continue to put these type of games. He don't even have to have another 40 ball. He just need to be consistent,
right,
20s and 25s, and
and look
get
at
some,
the tournament.
have some, yeah, look good in tournament. And I think he's a first round pick.
But the first three you named are lottery picks.
Yeah, straight up, straight. And the kid out of Kansas, I can't remember his name.
Can't I'll look it up.
Yeah, the kid out of Kansas.
It's so many of them.
Yeah, it's quite a few freshmen, and see, this is why I want to really dive into college basketball in the weeks to come, leading up to March Madness, because I really want to know a lot more about these teams going into the tournament. Speaking of that, teams, some big games. Arizona, number one team in the country. They just went against AJ DeBasta and defeated them. I think Arizona went to BYU and beat them. Michigan just defeated Nebraska. Nebraska was in my opinion, a surprise basketball team.
That game was a lot
Like
closer than I expected it to be because I thought Michigan was head and shoulders better than Nebraska, and for that to come down to I think a last second shot.
Yeah, because Nebraska led most of their game. They got out to a really good start. I think I think they're definitely the best 3-point shooting team in the Big Ten. Probably one of the best in the country. They were hitting shots early, and they went into Ann Arbor and done this, and that's what I was impressed with. And then with Michigan, the thing with Michigan is they are very talented, but you can't really say they battle tested because in today's college basketball, you don't have teams with 2 and 3 years of experience to go into big games and say, okay, we've been here before. So Michigan was definitely the most, yeah, definitely Michigan's the most talented, was the most talented team, but Nebraska was more efficient at what they do. And Michigan, kind of like answered the bell at the end, took that lead, and once they took the lead down the stretch, they never really gave it up. The kid on Michigan, I had the pleasure of watching in high school. I think his name is Moraz Johnson Jr.
What's his number?
I think he's number 21. I think he's a sophomore.
Oh yeah.
He had 17. I think he had a double double in that game against Nebraska. I had the pleasure of watching this kid in some summers in AAU basketball. I think he finished his high school career at Thornton High School in the south suburbs of Chicagoland. I think he finished up his junior and senior. You remember Ty Streets, right?
Yeah.
Ty Streets is the head coach at Thornton High School.
Basketball?
And he's the head basketball coach at Thornton High School. And I think that's where he finished his high school career. Then he went to Illinois for a year, and then he transferred to Michigan. And I was like, why is he going to Michigan? But then I put the pieces together. Maybe Ty Streets had a little something to do with that. But that's the Michigan thing.
I know who Ty Streets is.
Yeah, but yeah, that's Moraz. I think that's his name, Moraz Johnson Jr. About 6'9", had an impressive game against Nebraska. And then Purdue, it's amazing Purdue is on. They just lost to a few. They've done. They're. I think they're on a 3-game losing streak. If I'm not mistaken.
Illinois
They
Saturday.
they lost to Illinois,
They lost
and
to
then they lost to Indiana more recently. See, here's the thing. It's amazing what one program can do to affect the other on campus. This Indiana National Football Championship, I think, along with the new head coach, DeBreeze in Indiana, but I believe the buzz on campus with this championship running around. They had the parade. I think it was on. It was sometime over the weekend. But Indiana had picked this particular time to play some really good basketball, and I think this was their biggest win of the season against Purdue. Like I said, Purdue is on a slide right now. I don't think they're gonna. I think they only lost like 4 games this year, maybe 4 or 5 games this year. So I don't think they're going to continue this slide. I just think this is just the Big Ten possibly being one of the best teams in college, one of the best basketball conferences in college basketball right now. Arizona's number one, but with Nebraska, Michigan, Purdue, Michigan State, I overlooked that Nebraska Michigan game. It kind of snuck up on me. Looking forward to Michigan State, Michigan, which will be Friday night.
yeah,
But
yep.
um, like I said, it's amazing what that championship, that Indiana National Football Championship, has done to spark that campus, because that basketball team was seemed to be inspired to play Purdue. I think they beat somebody else
They
before
played
before the Purdue game, and they should have beaten Nebraska.
they played Michigan the day after they won a national championship on that Tuesday, and they played Michigan tough, but Michigan broke it open with maybe like 5 minutes to go at the end. It was
Okay.
nipped up. I'm trying to think who else they. Yeah, they should have beat Nebraska, but Nebraska ended up beating them.
Yeah, I think their shot selection got bad at the end. I think they kind of ran out of gas against Nebraska, down towards the end. But Indiana, uh playing good basketball right now. Illinois, playing. I think Illinois. I think they got Washington tonight. Shout out to the Washington Huskies. My boy, what's the kid's name from Gary Westside? We. I'm about to leave out of here in a minute. We taking on the Cougars tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, East Chicago Central, going against the Cougars. We knocked those guys out of the tournament the last 2 years, and I know they're gonna be ready to play this tonight because they got a couple really good seniors coming back, and this is a last hurrah. I think they're gonna come out on us. I told our guys, hey, best believe we got some young guys for this year. We got some really young freshmen, and I don't know if they're ready. We're gonna see. Because I think they're gonna go in tonight in the gym tonight and be like, they're gonna see what it means to defend, uh, uh, to follow the tradition of a program that left expectations upon you. I
Hmm.
believe, in my opinion, with our high school basketball team, this is gonna be the first challenge in that aspect. Because now we're about to go up against a lot of our sectional opponents down towards the end of the season. I think this is where our young freshmen are going to get a real taste of, look, you got to defend the name on the front of the chest because they're coming for you. The guys before you left you guys with some responsibility and some expectations. Now they're getting into the part of the season where we're about to see, can you handle that pressure? We now, don't get me wrong, I don't talk a whole lot about my local high schools, and maybe down the stretch, like we can get into that, sometime in seasons to come. But I just wanted to mention, while I'm talking about it, is we got some seniors that had the opportunity to play one game away from state championship. And my thing with them is I've been kind of challenging them to show the younger guys what it means to play at a high level, the leadership, the leadership aspect. So we got a group of kids that's being challenged, older kids that's being challenged to be leaders down towards the stretch. I believe now they're about to go into this game with, I don't know if they understand, and maybe I could be over analyzing this, but I would just believe we're gonna be in for a tough one tonight against the Gary Westside Cougars. My cousin B.O.B.
Oh, yeah.
He on the staff over there. So kind of off topic, but I want to talk about that. But I want to see tonight if our seniors, um, Joseph Watkins, JoJo, uh, uh, uh Jamari Pollard, and I'm missing a couple names. So we got some names, some kids that played in the state championship game. Javon Wolford. Those three kids had an opportunity to play in a one game away from state championship. And that's probably the biggest game they ever played in their lives. Tonight, I think they're going to get a chance to really see what it means to play defending championship basketball, because this is our first time seeing another, I think it's a sectional opponent. We got our first sectional opponent of the season. We'll be seeing, maybe depending on how it draws out, we can see those guys later on in the tournament. But this is going to be the first taste of, all right, y'all knocked us out a couple years. Now we going into their house too. It's gonna be a big game. I'm looking forward to see how those kids respond tonight. Um, but hey, now last but not least, and then I get the Super Bowl is coming up. We're gonna have a whole week to prepare, and I think maybe a day to even make predictions. I got a big announcement coming up next week. Big announcement. And I'm pushing this announcement up a month or two.
Okay.
Okay. But I
All
got a
right.
big announcement coming up next week. But we got the NFL, of course, the Super Bowl coming up. Last but not least, I think we talked about Belly. We talked about Shador. We could talk more about the Super Bowl matchup as we get more news coming out of these cities. I'm going to do my best to listen to these two markets going into the week. But LeBron James, I want to finish up with LeBron. And he went to they I think the Lakers lost to the Cavaliers 129-99.
Yeah, it got
I,
out of hand.
LeBron had 11 points, and the sideshow of it all ended up being Bronny James's 8 points. And my thing is with that is, as you guys can hear Woods in the background, he got something going on. But um, my thing
I
is,
cut off.
I um I took out some time to listen to a little bit of the 90. I don't want to get the call numbers wrong in the city of Cleveland, so I'm not going to even say. But the fan in Cleveland, I listened to them this morning. I listened to the morning show just to see what their vibe was on their new head coach, um, Todd Monken,
Monkey, yeah.
and I got some. I was able to hear their thoughts on LeBron and what they think the future of LeBron may be. And LeBron delivered one championship to Cleveland, and they seemed like their fan base seemed like they're willing to take him back for 1 year.
Yeah.
And but there was some. Did you hear the post game? Did you hear the post game last night between the Lakers after the Lakers beat Cleveland?
No, I actually I was flipping back and forth channels. I was watching.
There's a kid on a young man, I should say. I don't know how old he is, but young man on their team. He put up 20 points for the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. Um, forget his name. Let me look it up. See if we can find that box score for the Cleveland.
It wasn't Wade, was it? It
No, it wasn't Wade. I'm gonna come up with it in a minute. Let's see here.
Yeah, I was flicking back and forth with that game, and I was watching it just because Braun was back in Cleveland, and
Yeah,
that thing got out of hand third quarter, and I never went back to it.
I'm gonna drop a nugget on you. We're not gonna be too much longer. Thanks for watching, but I'm gonna drop a nugget on you. He said some interesting things at the end of that game last night, but I want to make sure I get this kid's name right, the young man's name right. Uh, L.A. against Cavs last night. I think he put up about 20 points last night. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Let me get that box score. All right, let me get that box score. I don't want to get this kid's name messed up. Because he said he had made a powerful statement last night. His name is Jalen Jalen Tyson. Does that
Okay,
name ring a bell for you?
nah,
Well, anyway, the interview Donovan Mitchell. Jalen Tyson is in the interview with Donovan Mitchell. They give Jalen an opportunity to speak. They asking Donovan Mitchell about what did he think about LeBron's legacy in Cleveland and stuff like that. But before Donovan Mitchell can say anything, Jalen Tyson, he probably went viral if you check it out. He said, "Hey, I want to say something." They said, "Go ahead." He said, "Look, this Donovan Mitchell's team, this Donovan Mitchell city right here." Jalen Tyson was letting everybody know that, hey, we done with the LeBron. We done with you have anything? You didn't hear anything about that?
uh-uh.
Jalen Tyson say, "Hey, man, this is Donovan Mitchell City right now." Hey man, that was a big statement that kid made. But Donovan Mitchell finished it up, cleaned it up, and said, I respect, he set that the bar. He said his legacy is big in Cleveland, and it is. One championship for a franchise. That's the one championship that I really, really rooted for LeBron to win because when he left Miami and went back to Cleveland, I was pleased with that move because I wasn't really particular happy with him going to Miami in the first place. And then you want to compare yourself to Jordan, that's a whole different conversation. But Jalen Tyson say, "Hey man, this Donovan Mitchell's city." But the sports media in Cleveland, I think they were talking about a possibility of bringing LeBron back and
Yeah,
winning a championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers and having his farewell tour. But the question was whether or not he would take the veteran minimum or if he wanted to be paid. If he took the veteran minimum, they can build more around and add more to and probably keep a lot of the nucleus they have to bring LeBron in and say we're gonna go on this farewell tour and we're going to try and win a championship and let that be your final season. Now my question is, does Bronny come along with that?
yes, yeah. Big. I think it's as soon as, and I think it's gonna happen as soon as, and it's what we call it, Walt Disney. They gonna
Yeah,
put it
NBA
together.
and Walt Disney. Yeah,
They already done started a little smoke, a little fire with the Genie Bus report that came out last week. But they wasn't really saying nothing because everybody know how LeBron is dealing with him in the organization. But that was the first domino to fall for LeBron to leave LA, go back to Cleveland. Get his farewell tour where it ends where it started, and we're gonna have Bronny there, and we're gonna make one push. And yeah, I can see him taking the vet minimum to do it.
That's what they question. Whether or not he take the vet minimum to do this. That's the big question. That's the big question. So, two guys, as we wrap up tonight, we'll get into the Super Bowl matchups in the week to come. I don't believe I left anything on the out there that I don't think I forgot anything. But LeBron's future in LA, his future in the NBA, Giannis's future in Milwaukee. Where will he end up? Um, but the biggest deal for me is these young superstars, these young players that we about to get ready to see in the next year or two in the NBA. So college basketball is about to take a big uh it's about to become a little bit more significant in the weeks to come on Watch the Game. I have to watch more college basketball because when it comes time for the big time, the March Madness, I want to be ready and I want to know what I'm looking at. I want to know who I'm looking at. And those are some of the biggest stories going forward. Um, hey man, thanks for joining. We went on a little early for business purposes on your behalf and mine as well. We got the Cougars tonight. You got the Grind tonight. And hey man, Super Bowl. I got a big announcement next week.
Okay.
Big announcement next week. And Super Bowl 60 is upon us. I'm gonna keep my ear to the markets of Boston, keep my ear to the Seattle sports talk. I just want to see, how these two cities are engaging the Super Bowl and that fan base pretty much coming from the bottom of the league in the last 2 years. Now they're at the top on the big day, on the big game. Watch the Game Sports. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, share. It's been real.
And we go.